What's up, gang, and welcome back to another edition of Road Trippin with the Rubes.
Hi, guys. And if this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much. Please be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and like this video. If you've been riding with us on the Roots Row Review all along, thank you so much. Comment down below. We love interacting with everyone. So today we are getting into it. Episode dose of
Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney+.
Full on spoiler alert, guys. And if this is your first time tuning in, we do not discuss the series or the episode beforehand. We wait until we're here with you to talk about it. So, thoughts?
After seeing this episode, I didn't know that I could dislike Captain America any more than I already did. But this guy right here irks me. And his new nickname for me is Captain White Privilege. That's how I feel about it.
So, guys, he's not talking about Cap. He's talking about John Walker, Texas Ranger, whatever you want to call the guy. Yeah. I tell you this much, though. In watching the full-on first season of WandaVision, and we'll include those videos if you haven't caught our real reviews on that, and seeing this and knowing that originally Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be released before WandaVision, I'm in awe of both series, and how they tie in to everything in the universe. So we finish up WandaVision, and there's a point where, you guys have all seen the trailer where Falcon says the big three, and he mentions witches, right? It just all ties in. So
He said wizards.
Wizards. Yes, that's right. But Wanda's that witch. So, sorry. All right, so let's get into it. So it starts off with, you see, an unzipping, right? And you don't know yet what it is. And then you see that John Walker is in a high school locker room. It ends up being his alma mater. And he's there with his high school sweetheart. I get it, guys. You want us to have a soft spot for him. It ain't happening.
Yeah, no, I'm cool.
It's not working. So it's like, if you ever watched wrestling back in the day, professional wrestling, WWF, WWE, like they try to sell you on someone, and they call it putting them over, right?
Or pushing them.
Pushing them over. We're not there. But I will say, there was a moment where he's talking to her and he says, I've been a captain before, obviously, but this is different.
Right.
Everyone in the world wants me to be something, and I don't want to fail them.
He already failed me because I wanted him to not be in the show, but
I think him saying that, right? So, what's the saying? You can't lead the orchestra unless you're willing to face your back to the audience, right? I think we'll see that thread of him not wanting to fail people and him wanting to please everyone. That's going to make him, I think, go against the grain, where Captain America was ethical upon ethical upon ethical, and knew that, listen, you might not like it now, but you're going to look back and know, nah, Cap did the right thing.
Yeah.
Corey's pro Iron Man. So watching Civil War with Corey gets pretty intense. But, so we get that. And then in comes his BFF. And, he says, man, 2 weeks ago, we were running special ops in Chile. Like, can you believe this? Then his best friend holds him accountable and says something I thought was very telling. And he said, this suit comes with expectations. You can't just punch your way out of problems anymore. So, unlike the real Captain America, Walker, Texas Ranger wakes up and chooses violence. And his homie knows it.
Hence why he has a gun on his leg.
Which is where first of all,
that's the distinction
there. You get the intro. You get that Beyonce homecoming HBCU vibe, which was amazing.
Fire.
They need that intro on every
That joint
intro.
was dope. That joint was dope.
I was mad that it was for him.
Yeah.
And then you see him go on GMA, right? And at this point, GMA, everybody watches, Good Morning America. And so, Falcon's watching Good Morning America. Bucky's watching Good Morning America. And this guy's like, Good Morning America. And then, as you said it, he's got the gun on his leg.
Yeah, so that's the distinct difference. He wants to go on the offensive versus Cap, who was a defensive guy.
Yep. And then
hence the shield, right?
Right.
I'm going to defend. I'm not going to attack.
Right. And then you hear him say, well, first of all, didn't nobody compare you to Iron Man or Dr. Banner. But he says, well, I'm no Tony Stark or Dr. Banner. I don't have flashy gadgets or super strength. I have guts. How you hating from outside the club?
Yeah.
How are you hating from outside the club?
And I do think he has some stuff going on.
Okay. I have something on that. So then you hear she said, oh, you know what? You're just being modest. You're the first person to have 3 medals of honor. Miss me. Okay. What's that? Oh, that's them missing me.
Yo, you had me about to turn around. Like, what is that?
First of all, keep Tony Stark's name
out your mouth.
Your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay? Sparky. Simma. But he says, I have guts, much like Captain America. And then you see Bucky. And then you hear, well, have you met Captain America? No, I did not. I was doing something. Bucky's, that was the eye roll scene around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all there with you, Bucky. We were there with you.
He's literally the guys that despised him when Steve Rogers was in the military and he was a little scrawny dude.
Yes.
He would be the guy that would try to discount him.
I absolutely believe that. So then we go from that scene, then we hop to plane hangar, and you have Torres and you have Falcon talking, and there's like a poster of Frapton for America, right?
Yeah.
Frappuccino. Comment down below what we should nickname him, because Captain America is not it, right?
Captain White Privilege.
CWP. So, CWP.
Yeah, I like that.
Torres and Falcon are talking, and Torres is like, he seems like a good guy. Torres.
Of course.
I got my eye on you, Torres. I got my eye on you. So, then Bucky pulls up.
Yeah. Like, why'd you get his shield away?
He's furious, right?
Yeah, you're tripping.
Sam hits him with the Saweetie, take care. He goes, be well. Right?
Yeah.
So he says, just be well. And Sam is absolutely right, but Bucky keeps on going. And then Sam checks Bucky's privilege. And I don't even know if Bucky realizes he has it. But Sam checks it by saying, you're not about to come at me in your overextended life and tell me what to do in mine.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Tell me about my rights.
So, okay, this episode I thought was amazing because it touched on racial undertones without being extra. It was, I feel like absolutely
Mackie had some say.
Mackie definitely had some say. Like, I feel like Mackie interjected and said, no, this is more natural, that's more natural. And the reason why I say this is because CWP, his high school sweetheart, is a woman of color, and his best friend is a black male. And they don't make that a thing. It doesn't have to be a thing. But checking someone's privilege does. And that's what we see Sam do. And Sam's like, listen, I got other stuff going on. And typical of privilege, Bucky's like, what's bigger than this right now?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
What's bigger than this? And that scene resonated with me because it really made me think of, and I don't want to get political here, but it made me think of the insurrection in January. a lot of people on social media, this is the darkest day in American history. This is the worst thing that happened. I'm ashamed to be American. These same people were silent post watching the murder of George Floyd. So it was very hurtful for me as a black woman. So this series definitely highlights the fact that there are two different Americas.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode goes into that more. So, all right. So we've got that. He gives Bucky kind of the rundown, right?
Yep.
So he says to him, you know, he talks about the flag smashers and really and truly says, hey, listen, Red Wing has spotted them somewhere. It might be one of the big three. So that's the scene that we've seen in kind of like the trailers for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say which is, so I don't want to mess it up. What are the big three?
Androids.
Aliens.
Aliens. Is it aliens?
Yeah.
And witches. Okay.
No.
I mean wizards. You got me saying witches.
I said you say it so I don't mess it up. Anyway.
I know, and then I mess it up.
And wizards, right? And he's like, wizards? He's like Doctor Strange. He was like, Doctor Strange is a sorcerer. And Falcon goes, a sorcerer is a wizard without a hat.
Yeah. And then they get into Gandalf.
Right.
He's like, I read
it when it came out in 51 or something like, you know,
37.
Mm-hmm. I love the chemistry between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky's like, you're not about to leave me out of this one. I'm there.
Right.
So I thought that was great.
He showed him the picture of a guy, and he's like, he's strong, almost too strong.
Right.
And then they hop on the plane.
So it was kind of unspoken that, hey, listen, this person might be a super soldier. But,
Mm-hmm.
you hear Bucky's lack of trust about Red Wing. So I thought that was great. So they're in the plane. Bucky's like, what's your plan? Falcon's silent. So Bucky's like, Steve always had a plan.
Yeah, you ain't got no plan.
Right.
He's like, I got a plan. Then jumps out the plane.
Guys, that was live footage from our house whenever I asked Corey what the plan is.
Right.
Okay?
Yup.
Shout out to all my planners out there. If you are a planner, be sure to check out Angelique Michelle. She has a great happy planner guide.
If I'm planning, just know the plan is to wing it. That's the plan.
Was that a play on Falcon? Because
exactly. I'm glad you caught that.
It was cute. So Falcon just jumps out, right? And so then Torres is there, and Bucky's like, all right, where's the chute? And he's like, oh, we're too low for a chute.
Mm-hmm.
So Bucky just rips his sleeve off because now it's time for some Wakanda action. That vibranium arm is going to get us through. He didn't land gracefully. Mm-hmm. What did Buzz Lightyear, when he's like, I'm flying, he's like, no, you're falling gracefully. No, it didn't happen. So that scene, and then you see Falcon have Red Wing filming it. So he's like, I have that whole thing on video.
Right. Which gave me the Wakanda vibes when Shuri wanted Black Panther to test out the suit. He kicked it and then he fell, and she's like, I got that on tape. That's what it reminded me of.
Guys, when they go to Wakanda or bring in some key elements from Wakanda during this series, and you go back to these videos and see that I'm repping Wakanda heavy, just know that I knew. Okay? Just know that I knew.
Yeah. Also, they go into the warehouse and they're watching, who the
two people load up trucks, right?
And Bucky's like, there's only two people, let's get them. Falcon's like, hold up. Sends Red Wing. He said, let's see what Red Wing sees.
Right.
Obviously, there's a thing between Bucky and Red Wing that is ongoing, that he hates Red Wing. So Sam's like, I'm just going to keep using Red Wing just because you hate it.
Right. But I do love the fact that, and Marvel does such a great job at this, we're learning so much about their capabilities. Before this, I didn't know that Bucky could jump out of a plane.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Cap could. I mean, and what is it? Winter Soldier, he fell from a train. on the mountainside. So we know he can
This
take
is
a
what
fall.
I'm going to say, though, guys. Very similar to WandaVision. I will go back to all of the Marvel movies and I will have a newfound appreciation for Falcon and a newfound appreciation for Winter Soldier. When we went back to watch the movies, post WandaVision, those Wanda and Vision moments were a little more tender to me. They hit a little different. It's like when you have that song and that's your song, and then like 10 years later you hear it again and you're like, how was it? And it takes you back. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel with this. So I'm glad. So they're like, okay, looks like 7 and a hostage, right? Sounds like spades, right? 7 and a possible. So it looks like 7 and a hostage. And so that's
you tell me you got 7 and a possible, we going 10. I ain't even looking at my hand. But go ahead. Spades 101.
Comment down below if you are not well versed in spades.
Yeah.
Not all of us are.
Spades 101, man.
Not all of us are. So, you have him go in to try to save said hostage, right? So he gets into the back of the truck, and it looks like there's some vaccines, right? That's what he calls them. It looks like there's some vaccines, some serums going on that are packaged up. He sees this sweet young lady, curly redhead. Get the vibes, guys. And he's like, typical 1940s Bucky. Hi, hello. Mm-hmm. She kicks a hole through his chest. She gives $1 million smile and takes him into 2035. Okay? Mm-hmm. Thank God there was a fast-moving truck behind him to catch him. And then he tries to go to the top of the truck.
No, they pull him up.
They pull him up, right. They do pull him up, and then they start to beat the brakes off of him and Falcon. They beat the brakes off of them, guys. But it was a great fight scene. So this series has
Don't forget Falcon pulls up with Red Wing first shooting, and she jumps up, grabs it, and breaks it.
That's right.
And Bucky's like, I've been wanting to do that forever. That's right.
Bucky's like, I've been waiting. She's like, Ka-cha. So the fight scenes in this movie, I keep saying movie, guys, because the fight scenes in this series are unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So anyway, then
I feel like if you go back, starting at Winter Soldier, all the Cap movies have been sort of like this.
Movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Right? Listen, I haven't seen a series give this level of action. Mm-hmm. It's one thing as a series to give drama and to give emotion, but when it comes to bang bang and boom, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. So you have that, and then here pulls up CWP and his sidekick, right? And they call themselves Saving the Day. Mm-hmm. And sidekick is getting beat up and says, John, help me. John does the most non-Cap thing ever. They shooting. Made you look. He shoots a gun. I think we should just, guys, you know what? If you're not doing this already, follow us on our social media at Road Trippin with the Rudes. I think we should start keeping a tally of the non-Captain America things he's been doing. Because, like, here's the grain. Here's your mans. Grain, your mans. Going against it.
Joy Valentina, I need you to comment below. Because Captain America is your mans. I need to know how you feel about John Walker. I need your thoughts on John Walker.
He is no John Wick. I tell you that much. I don't care about him or his dog if he has one. Okay? So, there's that whole scene. Falcon and Bucky are walking along the Munich countryside, right? It looks so peaceful and serene. And
after they got whooped.
Right. He's like, like what's in your mind, Bucky? And he's like, after 80 years to see that there are 8 super soldiers. Now, go back to episode 1. Bucky was actively trying to correct his wrongs. And I think found a level of solace in the fact that, hey, I'm kind of last of, or very few last of, a dying breed.
Mm-hmm.
It goes with me. To find out that there are 8 new and improved, I'm sure was super disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have CWP pull up in his army.
And for Falcon, fake Falcon.
Yeah, for Falcon is the worst, right?
What's his name? Battlestar, which, come on, yo.
Listen,
that's a Transformer name, but...
Listen.
He sound like a Transformer.
He pulls up trying to be buddy-buddy. And he's like, well, at least we know what we're up against. We're in Munich, buddy. We're not in France.
Mm-hmm.
Miss me with the we.
Right.
Okay? And Bucky's like, listen, just because you carry that shield doesn't make you Captain America, which Bucky did not see him shoot. I wish Bucky saw him shoot. Because that would have just taken it to the next level. Right?
I like that Bucky caught the shield, too, when he was out there fighting.
Yes. And then John says something, which makes me think that he is not super. Okay? He says that serum doesn't have a great track record. So I don't think he has any serum.
Nah, he was firing back at Bucky.
He's firing back at Bucky.
That was shots fired at Bucky saying it doesn't have a good track record because Bucky went buck wild.
Yeah, but if I had the serum, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I would.
If I have the serum, I'm a track star. Okay? I am Usain Bolt with the serum. If I have the serum. I'm not going to hate on it. I think it's another one of him hating outside the club.
Listen, for the Flag Smashers to be as strong as they were, and he come down and he kind of was fighting alongside them and was maintaining, he has to have some type of serum or something going on. He has to.
What if he's the son of someone that had the serum?
No.
And then it goes down to the question of, is it hereditary? Which leads us to the next scene.
No. Mm-mm.
Comment down below, guys. What you think?
No.
So you have them say, it doesn't have a great track record. And, so Falcon's like, yo, how did you track them? How did you find the Flag Smashers? Because Falcon had a hard time finding them. And he's like, no, we just followed Red Wing. And he's like, what do you mean?
You hacked
into my stuff. He's like, it's government property.
Which tells me they've been listening all along.
Which, if you go back to the first episode...
Why didn't CWP show up at the bank? He knew all that.
If you go back
Give my man some money.
If you go back to the first episode, and we'll include our review on that one here, but if you go back to the first episode where he's sitting there with Torres, and he's fixing Red Wing, and Torres is like, why don't you just have them fix it? And he's like, no, every time the army has touched it, they've messed it up. What was your take on that scene?
Kind of saying that maybe he was manipulating the stuff. I don't know. I take nothing from it.
Torres knows that there's a government tracker in Red Wing. I think Torres, much like Red Wing, has been instructed to watch Falcon. I don't think it's all black and white with Torres. I think Torres has some stuff going on. One of which is serving kind of as an informant and managing Falcon as opposed to truly wanting to help Falcon. He's more so wanting to help his causes. And it could be a reach. It could be a reach. But I said what I said. And I'm going to keep going with the Torres thing, by the way. So just brace yourself.
I see that.
Right? And CWP goes on and talks about resources, and Falcon calls him out. Says a person with resources. So Falcon calls out his privilege, which I appreciate, here for it, and pretty sure Mackie added. Thank you, Mackie. So, then Falcon looks at Lamar and goes, Lamar, who are you? And he says, well, I'm Lamar Hotskins. And he's like, listen, a guy jumping out of a plane needs to give me more than that. And then with a straight face. Straight face.
He said, I'm a Transformer.
Right. Lamar says, I'm Battlestar. What now? Say what now?
That's a terrible name, man. It
Battlestar?
Really is. Ah.
The only star we acknowledge is Patrick Star. Shout out to SpongeBob SquarePants. No, I was just horrible. They got out. They were like, that's it. That's fine. We went off, right? And then we go back to the Flag Smashers. The Flag Smashers are being welcomed into a safe house. Very underground, railroadish vibe. You then identify the lead or the leader of the Flag Smashers, who is the redhead that they originally thought was a hostage, right? So there's a man talking, and he says, you know, they call you Robin Hood. Her real name is Carly Morgenthau. Now, if you watched our last review, Corey, you mentioned that there wasn't a Flag Smashers. There was one person.
Yeah, one guy.
What was the person's name?
His name was Carl. Carl Morgenthau. So all they did was throw an I on the end, made it Carly.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, so I appreciate it. So you hear the person that let her in. My wife and I made you this bread. You know, people are calling you Robin Hood. People adore you. And then you see that she's checking her phone, right? So she's hearing all of this praise. She's checking her phone. And the text says, you took what's mine. I'm going to kill you. And then it flashes to Interpol, her being most wanted and her name being Carly as opposed to Carl.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I thought that was just a great play because one of the things that they said is wherever you go, you will have people that love you. You will have people that follow you. Because essentially, I mean, the whole thing is essentially it's like we've become the forgotten, right? So the people have come back after the blip, and now we, the ones that have been here, the ones that were picking up the pieces for 5 years, not just a few moments, are now being outcasted.
Are we not? I'm worried. Like, what are the vaccines for? We have not.
I don't think they're
learned
vaccines.
about that.
I don't think they're vaccines. I think it's serum.
Well, they're talking about taking them to camps and stuff.
Yeah.
That was, during the blip or post blip. But I'm just like, what are these vaccines for?
I think these were created after the blip. I think this was a design to kind of weaponize every human remaining to protect ourselves from any other invasions. I think the theory was we need more than just Avengers. We all need to be super.
Okay.
I mean, at least that's the feeling that I got.
But they're anti-government, so.
Well, they're all about one world. And if we lose half of the world's population, you are going to unify. Your numbers are dwindling. That makes sense. So it's more so for, unification, in which point, like they even said, the GRC, whoever that is, care more about the people that came back than the people that remained. And their mantra is one world, one people.
They're a council.
They're a council?
Yeah, global reputation, something council.
Okay. Not reparations.
Not
but
reparations,
something else, right?
It looks like reparations almost, but it's reputation.
So, and this was from the comic book?
No, I don't know where they got that from. It could be, but I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Okay. Comment down below if you guys know. So then Bucky says, let's take the shield, Sam. Falcon's like, you remember what happened last time? Cap and I were on the run.
Yeah.
Right? Bucky says, well, there's someone you should meet. And then they show up in B-More. Good old Baltimore. And once they get there, there's a little boy that sees Falcon and says, Black Falcon!
Yeah. I thought that was good.
Why you call me Black Falcon?
He's like, because I'm black and I'm a Falcon?
My daddy said you're Black Falcon.
He's like, so I can call you Black Kid then. And then the other kid started laughing. He's like, I got him, didn't I? I feel like that was the Anthony Mackie.
Yes.
ad lib or want to put that in
If
there.
you've seen any of
Maybe we're
Anthony
giving him too much
Mackie's,
credit. I don't know.
I don't know, because if you see any of Anthony Mackie's interviews, this is very true to him. So even if he didn't, the writers really know him and they've got a great pulse of the culture. So I thought that was great. I appreciate them for not shying away from the word black.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing now.
That is a thing.
You know, not everybody identifies themselves as African American or
right. Anytime I see a person that's not black and they're hesitant to say black, that means to me in my mind that they feel like the word black is offensive.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
So what do you associate black with?
Right.
That you're embarrassed to say because I'm black.
Exactly.
Right. So anyway, I thought that was great.
I'm just trying to drop a couple gems, here and there.
Corey's a clumsy king. He drops gems along the way.
Yeah.
So, they're in Baltimore. I love that. And then they knock on the door. And a young man answers.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky asks for Isaiah. He says, you know what? Tell him the guy from Goyang is here. Now, guys, once he says Isaiah, my mind is blown.
Wow.
Did you anticipate an Isaiah feature or wait a minute, time out. Did you have any preconceived guest appearances for this series?
I did not.
Okay. Neither did I. But when I tell you
when you say you got somebody to meet, I got somebody I want you to meet, I'm like, what?
Literally, so for all the comic book heads, and Corey's more so stronger there, this is like a dream come true. For people that are connected with Marvel because of the MCU, they're showing us really and truly everyone that has touched the shield.
Mm-hmm.
One of which being Isaiah. So enters Isaiah. So Bucky and Falcon walk in. It is Isaiah, who was Black Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So it was so funny. I think there were people that were actually up in arms about Falcon being Captain America. I had my concerns too because I wasn't connected to Falcon, but it was more so for race for them. And I'm like, okay, no, there was a Black Captain America already. Right? So that shouldn't be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Bucky.
Well, go ahead.
You have Bucky say, this is Isaiah. We met in Goyang. And he said, Isaiah clapped back. He said, if by met, you mean I kicked your ass in Goyang?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yes.
Yep.
I took your arm in Goyang. I just wanted to see if you got it back. Bars. Mic drop. Mic drop. So that part was amazing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Falcon's standing there dumbfounded. Because he told him, they locked me up for 30 years.
Yes. So here was the moment. So Isaiah has aged, but he still has his super strength, right? Mm-hmm. Back in 51, they could not locate the Winter Soldier. And every time they sent somebody to capture the Winter Soldier, He killed him. And so Bucky says this man is feared by Hydra just as much as Captain America, right? Because he was the one that was able to get at Bucky, right? In 51. Mm-hmm. And he says, Isaiah, he throws something. So Isaiah's aged, but he throws something. His super strength is still there. And he says, do you know what I got for saving our country? Do you know what I got for fighting? I was in prison for 30 years. I was tested on. They took my blood. Mm-hmm. Your people had their way with me. By your people, he meant Hydra. But if you ever wonder why there's hesitation against getting this current vaccine, there is just a history, right, in this country of medical malpractice. I mean, that's the best way to say it. So a lot of people have experienced that. Henrietta Leaks was tested without her consent. If you look at the Latin community in Puerto Rico, immigrants in Mexico, were taken in to deliver their baby and given complete hysterectomies, right?
Tuskegee
Project, where men were supposed to be vaccinated, but they were injected with syphilis. There is a long history of being violated. And if you ever wonder why, it was because it was perceived that we have higher pain tolerance and that we lack souls. So just let me get off my soapbox there, but don't attack people on their stance of vaccines until you educate yourself on the history. So as Falcon's there, and he is looking, and he had already expressed his short time on the run and him never wanting to do that again. Falcon is looking into his future self. Falcon is looking at Isaiah and saying, that could be me. I could be imprisoned for 30 years. It really, to me, pulled my heartstring because I think about our young soldiers that fought in Vietnam and that came home and were basically treated like trash too, and Falcon being a military man, he felt that.
Yeah.
So when they go outside, he's like, yo, why didn't you tell me about him? How come I didn't know about him? Did Cap know about him?
Nope, never told
He
him.
said, no, I didn't tell Cap. I didn't want to tell anyone. He's been through enough.
Right.
Whoop, whoop. You're in Baltimore. A black man is having a lively discussion with a white man. Cops pull up. Right?
Yep.
Racial profiling ensues. And they start to speak in code. So you hear the, what's he say? Calm down, sir, calm down. Falcon's like, I'm calm.
Right.
Right? But that's the narrative, right?
Right.
I thought he was reaching for something. I had to shoot him. He came at me aggressively.
Right.
He wasn't.
Right.
Bucky was thoroughly confused. And Bucky did what he thought was right by saying, don't you know who this is? And then the guy goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize you without your glasses on.
Now the other cop told him.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other cop told him, whispered in his ear. And then he looked and was like, oh, man, I'm tripping. But regardless of that.
How about just not treating another human being that way?
Well, regardless of all of that, he came for Sam. And Bucky is the guy that's wanted.
Yes. So he says,
Which,
says
again,
to Bucky, you have a warrant.
That's the show of white privilege right there again.
Racial bias, too.
Yeah.
And racial profiling. And just so you know, people of color don't have to be exceptional to be human. So it shouldn't be, oh, you're Falcon.
Right.
It should be, oh, you're a fellow human being, and I'm going to treat you with a level of humanity that you deserve on basis of that.
It was a reverse, I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then Falcon claps back. He's like, listen, the president pardoned him. He said, no, this one he missed his court-ordered therapy session. It's like missing your probation. All right? So, boom. They handcuff Bucky. They go downtown. And in comes Captain Save the Day.
Well, first the therapist comes in. Right?
Yep.
And, greeted Sam, like, I heard a lot about you. Which she didn't.
She said, I saw a lot of your unresponded to text messages, right?
Yeah. And, we got some court-mandated therapy sessions. And Sam's like, well, thanks for bailing him out. She's like, that wasn't me.
Right.
And then here comes CWP, like...
Oh, he's too busy for this because he is with me.
Yeah.
Chill out, buddy. First of all, nobody's too busy for mental health.
Right.
Thank you very much. And he's like, well, can you hurry it along? And he can't be restricted by this anymore.
Yeah, and the therapist was like, well, who authorized this? And he's like, me.
Me.
I'm Captain America.
So then, and I love this therapist. She's very unorthodox, and she says it. She says, I'll need you to, Sam. Sam's like, no.
Yeah, he's like, I'll wait out here. I'm good.
Nope, Sam, I'll need you to. I'm going to treat you to, I'll use the same methods that I do in couples therapy.
Yeah.
Right? And so she's like, do you know the miracle question? Sam does, Bucky doesn't. Right? So there's like yes, no at the same time. And she explains, if you were to wake up with a miracle having been performed, what would it be? And then Bucky says, do you remember?
Him not talking?
Him talking less.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. In the MCU, it's known that Anthony Mackie is a talker.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
He's a talker.
Yeah.
I feel like him and Mark Ruffalo could just...
They do.
Right? Go on tangents. So I thought that was great that he said that. And then, Sam says, same, right? Mm-hmm. And then she says, you know what? We're going to do the soul glaze, or
look into each other's eyes or something.
Let me see on my notes, because I thought this. Okay, we're gonna do the soul staring session, and so they move in, right, and they're not close enough, so they intertwine legs, which I appreciate so much because there's so much toxic masculinity going on. You absolutely can be close. You absolutely can show emotions. That's a human thing. So I loved that. But instead of staring into each other's souls, them being them,
they're having a staring contest.
You start to see the flinch of the eyes. I mean, I just know on set it must have been like amazing. I know that they were cracking.
Because he's like, you would like that, wouldn't you?
Right?
That's your favorite part.
Yeah.
And Winter Soldier's like, yeah, I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah. And then the therapist says to Bucky, without doing a joke, what are you upset about? Like, why are you really upset at Sam? And it was such a great moment of clarity, right? Because he says, why didn't you take the shield? And Bucky's in his own head, in his own world. And Sam goes, one thing that you and Captain America failed to understand was that I did not want this. And then Bucky gets to the root of the problem. Because Falcon says, why does this bother you so much? It has nothing to do with you. And then Bucky says, he trusted you. He believed in you.
Yeah, if he's wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
Right. So maybe maybe there isn't any redemption for me. He chose you and he had faith in me. So was he wrong on both accounts? And I thought that was truly touching. And then Falcon, in his own way, apologized by saying, could you just understand that I thought I was doing the right thing? And then said, you know what, for now, can we table this? Let's handle this issue. And then both go on 2 long vacations, far, far away from each other, never to see each other again. And they agree. So they squash their beef. They're going outside. They're talking game plan. And whoop, whoop.
Captain, white privilege, on deck.
CWP.
With a Falcon.
Has the nerve to be leaning on a cop car. And then turns on the siren. So puts his hand inside of a cop car. I mean, all of these things that I could never even imagine doing. He was quite comfortable with doing, right? Him and Battlestar Galactica are there, right? And, he says something like, super cheesy. And, Falcon says, listen, you have rules of engagement that you have to follow. We are free agents.
Yeah.
Right? He says, I'm a falcon pigeon. Let me fly. At which point, jaded, hurt-feeling Walker says, word of advice, stay the hell out of my way then.
Right. Who are you?
Bet.
That's what I'd have said. Who are you?
Bet, buddy. So, the Flag Smashers, then we flash to the Flag Smashers at the airport packing up the goods, and they get a message and it says, they found us, right? So that message that said they found us, what did you think?
I'm still on the fence of who they are. I don't know who they are. I know that they texted her and was like, you stole what was mine and I'm coming to kill you.
I think this was a different texter.
Oh, okay.
I think this was a tipster. I think this was somebody that sympathizes with their fight. I think the texter was Torres. I think Torres.
I don't know.
I think Torres tracks Red Wing. I think Torres sympathizes with the Flag Smashers.
Nope, I'm not going with it. I think Torres is who he is. I'm sticking with that until he proves me otherwise. I think Torres is who he says he is.
Guys, there will be two things that you hear.
He's just a young green guy that wants to be involved.
There will be two things that you hear from me. One is Wakanda Forever. And I already know we're going to get some Wakanda vibes through this. One of the scenes that we didn't talk about was when Bucky was, quietly peeping and...
He said, oh, look at you all stealthy.
Stuff like, oh, you spent some time in Wakanda and now you're White Panther. He goes, no, it's actually White Wolf.
Yeah.
Falcon's like, huh?
Right.
So, Wakanda Forever. 2, not everything is what it seems. And I think Torres is troubled. I think he's impressionable. He gives me William O'Neill from Judas and the Black Messiah vibes. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a must watch, and we'll include our real review to that as well. I think that Torres will be easily manipulated, so I'm staying tuned for that.
So, your Torres theory, he could be embedded, with Thunderbolt Ross. He could be putting him there, and Thunderbolt Ross could be manipulating him to get information about what's going on, because that's been his whole MO since the MCU started, right?
Right.
So you could have a valid point.
Might be a recruit,
Yeah.
And then you go back to Falcon and Bucky's like, listen, we've got super soldiers. We need to talk to somebody who knows Hydra like no one else. Falcon's like, nah, man. He's like, listen, runs down the resume. We've got to go. And then he says the name.
Baron Zemo. Show him in his cell, chilling. Aren't the Flag Smashers giving you anonymous vibes?
Yes. So basically, you've had the introduction of Carly as Carl. So that's somebody from, the comic book side of things. You have Isaiah, again, from the comic book side of things. And then you have Zemo. You've got heavy hitters. 3 heavy hitters. 3 game changers. In one episode.
Yeah. And you still probably have Thunderbolt Ross in the background pulling some strings. Because where's this super serum come from that you got 8 people
and possibly a truck full too,
running around?
Unless it's a vaccine to protect them from some type of chemical warfare or biological warfare that they're going to release. Maybe they say, hey, listen, we want it back to the blip.
Yeah, maybe they want to eliminate
the people that came back.
Yeah. Maybe.
And then, we might see Monica Rambeau.
That's a tall order. Oh, no. Now you're really reaching.
Guys, overall, I'm having a great time with this. I really hope that you're into the series. Comment down below with your theories, what you think is going to happen next. Friday has become a day. Like, we stay up until 3 a.m. We love it.
And this one was a little late because we had a busy weekend, right?
Life comes at you fast. We were in Baltimore looking for Isaiah. Not going to hold you.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding, guys. But we did. We made some trips. So, if you aren't doing so already, and if you like what you're hearing, please be sure, again, to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Like this video. Comment down below with your ideas. And share with a friend. Make this a thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What are your thoughts for next week? What do you think's coming next?
So, I'm thinking they're going to have Baron there. Baron might be trying to infiltrate the Flag Smashers, maybe. Because
you think they're going to have Zemo freed?
Yeah. Well, we know that. We seen him out loose in his in the trailers. So, you know, just like you think Torres is embedded, maybe they embed Zemo with the Flag Smashers.
This is deep.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm excited.
But
I am super excited.
It's going to be a conflict between the Flag Smashers, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and CWP. All at one time.
And Battlestar Galactica.
Nah.
You whack, buddy.
Nah.
So I'm here for it.
I'm not acknowledging him.
Battlestar.
Yeah. I'm not really.
Galactica is a thing, guys.
Yeah, I'm not acknowledging him.
Well, guys, thanks so much again for tuning in. And until the next time.
Keep tripping.
Bye, guys.